Hi, thank you all for joining. Sorry about the little technical difficulties here as we were trying to get the PowerPoint set up. Again, welcome to the webinar. My name is Albert Diaz and I am part of the customer success team here at Mindflash. Thank you all for joining. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us and talk a little bit and learn a little bit more about Mindflash. So it looks like we have quite a group today, and I'm pretty sure you're excited as I am to learn a little bit more about SCORM, what it is, and how it can benefit your trainees. So first, I wanted to mention a couple of housekeeping items. The first is this webinar will be recorded and emailed to everyone who registered. If you have any colleagues who couldn't attend the session or know someone who could benefit from learning a bit more about Mindflash, please feel free to forward the recording onto them. This is definitely a great training tool if you're going to use SCORM to a Mindflash course. And then the second thing I did want to mention is this webinar, as I mentioned previously, is about publishing SCORM content, and more specifically today, Articulate Storyline. But I am here to answer any questions you may have, so please submit your questions in the GoToMeeting window on the right side. And you can do this throughout the presentation, and we'll be happy to go over them at the end of the presentation. So great, that's all the housekeeping for today. Let's get started. One of the questions I often hear is, what is SCORM? And then SCORM is just an acronym for Shareable Content Object Reference Model. Definitely a mouthful there, but basically what it is a set of technical standards for packaging and presenting your content on LMS platforms such as Mindflash. Using a SCORM compliant authoring tool will allow you to create your content that communicates with our Mindflash platform. As demonstrated here in this image or in this nice little diagram, basically the way I like to describe it is you create your content either in a currently Mindflash supports Adobe Captivate and Articulate Storyline. So basically you would create your content. It will be your lesson as the first image states. We're going to go through this SCORM compliant package, which is either Adobe Captivate or Articulate Storyline. And then the way we get that Mindflash recognizes this is by publishing according to certain settings that we have in our help article that I'll present at the end. Basically, by converting your content using Adobe Captivate or Articulate Storyline, it's going to communicate with our Mindflash platform. And then this is how it kind of communicates by using SCORM. So Mindflash, as I again mentioned, supports Articulate Storyline and Adobe Captivate. It is possible that other SCORM contents could work with Mindflash, but there's just no guarantee that all the functions and features of those presentations will work within Mindflash. But again, as I wanted to mention as a side note again, this webinar is going to be specifically about Articulate Storyline, and we will definitely cover Adobe Captivate's publishing steps on next month's webinar. So another question I often hear is, why would I use, or why should I use SCORM? The first thing I like to say is it is definitely a powerful tool for online training. By using your project created in using SCORM, three positive things occur. The first is it can help make your online training more interactive. For example, PowerPoint has many features such as adding animations, images, and text, but is really limited in regards to it being interactive with the trainee. So many SCORM compliant authoring tools allow you to add engaging features such as directing learners to click on images and other on-screen elements, rendering text as a dynamic result, asking learners to expand components before they proceed to the next section, also inclusion of mini quizzes embedded within that course, just to name a few popular tactics that you can definitely use. The second is you can control the time. And what I mean by that is you can control the length of time a learner spends on a course before it's marked complete. SCORM-compliant authoring tools such as Articulate Storyline have settings that force learners to spend a specific amount of time on each page of a course before the next button appears or is enabled. And then third, the positive thing that can occur using SCORM is using your SCORM content plus adding additional files such as Word documents, PDFs, videos in a Mindflash course will create a more engaging course for the trainee. So basically what it boils down to is using SCORM compliant authoring tools such as Articulate Storyline will allow you to create a more engaging project, and that could be used in Mindflash, which definitely leads me to the next question. How do I get my SCORM content to a Mindflash course? So basically, if you have a project that's already been created, it will need to be published to a zip file according to our settings in our help article. The steps on how to publish are available in our help center, but for now, I will just walk you through all the necessary steps to get your first SCORM course into Mindflash. Also, you are more than welcome to have your Articulate Storyline software open this moment if you would like to follow me as I walk you through the publishing steps. So I'm going to take a moment here. If you have any questions so far as to what I have presented so far, maybe even give you a little bit of time to open that Articulate Storyline. So the publishing steps that I'm going to be demonstrating, I'm currently using Articulate Storyline 2. So some of the images might look a little bit different, but in essence, it's all the same steps. So going on to the first is Articulate Storyline uses a story size, and this can be found on the Design tab right below the Design tab, and it's the first image you'll see. It's story size. One thing to remember is that your course may be viewed on various devices and different sized computers. So to have your file fit and work for the largest number of trainees, we suggest using Storyline's default settings, which are 720 by 540. In Articulate Storyline, there's also an extra setting there that says scale to fit. So we want to make sure those settings are checkmarked, and then that the default size setting is 720 by 540. And again, this is just so that it can be viewed on many devices, and so depending on the trainees, they might be on a desktop or a laptop or even on a tablet, and then we want to make sure that that setting is selected as a default. And then going on to the next step or next publishing setting is our player setting. This can be found on our Home tab as demonstrated on this first image. So you're going to click on the Home tab and select Player. And once we do that, a new window will appear. And the second image here, as it demonstrates, there's a cog wheel with the word Other that's highlighted in blue. And then right below that, you'll see Browser Settings. And then we're going to go to the drop-down menu for player size, and we want to select Scale Player to Fill Browser Window. And the reason I mentioned this important setting is we also want to make sure that this project or your content will grow or shrink in size depending on how big the trainee's browser is. So again, this is another important feature if you want your content to scale appropriately depending on how the trainee is viewing the content and depending on the web browser. So this leads me to the next thing, which is after the size has been selected, which is the default, and then once the player option has been selected, we are ready to publish. And then, as demonstrated on the first image, we're going to go ahead and click Publish. And then again, once we click Publish, a new window will appear. We're going to go ahead and select LMS. The second thing is, right below Publishing, for HTML5, we are definitely going to want to select Include HTML5 Output. So we want to check mark that as well. And then as demonstrated right below output options, we want to go ahead and select SCORM 1.2. There's various versions of SCORM, and then the one that Mindflash supports is SCORM 1.2. So that's definitely an important setting to make sure that we select. And then if you need, I'm going to take a breather here, a moment, let you catch up. Probably I'm talking a little too fast, but I want to make sure that we get those settings or questions that you may have. And definitely, again, we'll go through those at the end. So once those settings have been selected, we're going to go ahead and right next to SCORM 1.2, as demonstrated on the image, we're going to go ahead and click Reporting and Tracking, which leads us to the fourth step, reporting. Although your project may or may not have a quiz in it, we recommend, and actually it's an important part, to select passed or failed. By selecting passed or incomplete, it might cause the project to get stuck and then not communicate with Mindflash and say that this project has been completed. So the training might be stuck and won't be able to move on to this next slide. So we definitely want to select passed, failed for this option on reporting. Now the fifth step is the tracking right below that as well. And then there's two scenarios here. The first is track using number of slides viewed. So depending on your project, if there's no quizzes, definitely you're going to select the slide viewed. But I also want to mention an important note here is, for example, your project might be, as demonstrated in this image screenshot, it's 45 slides, but the trainee can complete the project or the Articulate Storyline course within 20 slides. So by selecting the 45, it will cause the trainee to basically be stuck as well, since it's only needed to, in this example, you need to click 20 slides to progress to the next project or next slide that you may have in Mindflash. So definitely we want to make sure that the numbers align to what's clickable within the project. So this is one important setting. But if you do have a quiz, we're going to go ahead and select track using quiz results. So depending on how you named the quiz in your project, the drop-down menu will show as it was named in the project. Now, after these steps, after the tracking and the reporting are selected, we can go ahead and click OK. Which leads us to our final step, ready to publish. We're going to go ahead and click Publish. It takes a few moments to publish depending on how big your size of project is. Again, wanted to mention that once it's published, you'll get a message saying, congratulations, the project has been successfully published. And then you'll see the option zip. This is the format that will be needed to be uploaded into a Mindflash course. So as I go through here, once you have that zip file, that'll be able to be uploaded to a course, and then basically it's complete. Our upload limit is still 350 megabytes per upload, so you can definitely have a nice size project there, but it'll be limited to the 350 megabytes per upload. Now, I want to share a short example of what a Mindflash course using SCORM content looks like. So let me take a moment here to switch windows here and show you my my course. This is one of the reason this is one of the courses I give to my colleagues to show them a little bit about the Jedi ways. And as you can see, we have Darth Vader coming up here shortly. This is definitely a nice, it's a puzzle articulate story project. And this is what I give to my colleagues to show them about the dark side. And then here you'll see two images of the same side. So you'll see, I'm going to go over here, and kind of drag here a little bit. So there's two of the same images, and then in this project, you'll see that one is a true statement and one will be a false statement. So by reading this here, the Millennium Falcon is piloted by Han Solo and Chewbacca. That is definitely a true statement. So I'm going to go ahead and drag over here. And then I'm looking at this statement here. Darth Vader definitely does not use a green lightsaber. So I'm going to go ahead and select another one. And then as you can see, it's interactive. It engages the trainee. And then it definitely makes the project or your Mindflash course more interactive and more engaging. And as I drag these images, so yes, that one's true. Blue saber for Darth Vader. And then there we go. We have a completed project here. I'm able to go to the next slide. And again, this is the part where you can definitely add additional files, such as your Word documents, videos. You can definitely add more content to make the course more engaging. So this was just one short example of how a course using SCORM looks like. I hope this brief presentation on how to publish your settings explained how to get that set up for you, and then how it can be utilized in Mindflash. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my to the PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to go on and go ahead with questions. And then let's see, I'm going to go here quickly. Let's see here. Sorry about the wait. Just looking at the questions here, reading here online. So the first question is, will Mindflash work with an older version of Articulate? So we have Articulate Storyline currently, so we do support Articulate Storyline. And in this case, we do support Articulate Storyline 1 and the newer version that just came out, Articulate Storyline 2. I have not seen an older version as of yet, but definitely we can. So right now, currently, I can definitely say that Articulate Storyline 1 and Articulate Storyline 2 works. Okay, so that's the first question.
I can read the second question.
Oh, and I have my colleague Kevin here also going to read the question as well.
Okay, second question is there a way to determine the amount of data your customers might need to use for your courses containing video and or audio? So, no, there isn't any particular amount of data that a customer might need to use for courses containing video and audio. If that question is specific to any type of data or anything in particular, please ask again. It really depends on the content. The only limits that Flash have would be for file size, but there is no minimum. If that answers your question, there's really no way to determine how much is needed.
Thank you, Kevin. Let's see, I'm going to definitely, if you have any questions about the presentation here or anything, it doesn't have to be related to our SCORM content. If you want to take a moment to ask your questions, we're here to help.
Okay, I have another question coming in here. So I purchased my SCORM file from a vendor. Will it work with Mindflash? So yeah, if it is created in Articulate Storyline or Adobe Captivate, it will work in Mindflash. Yes. Yeah, as Alberto said earlier in the webinar, those are the only two SCORM types that we support. But others, it's possible other SCORM file types may work, but there's no guarantee.
Again, thank you, Kevin. So I'm going to take a minute more to see if you have any questions that we would be happy to answer. But again, as I mentioned, definitely using SCORM content such as Adobe Captivate and Articulate Storyline, it's definitely a great tool, as mentioned. And in that short example, using that definitely kept when I first used that project. It definitely I saw the reactions to my trainees and some of the colleagues of mine that were taking that course, and definitely see that definitely it keeps them more engaged. And then to conclude, I'm going to also give you our link or our website to where these publishing steps can be found. So at help.mindflash.com, if you go to that website, you'll be able to do a search for Articulate Storyline, and you will be able to find those. Sorry, it looks like I'm not sharing the appropriate screen. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So again, I wanted to mention that in our website, help.mindflash.com, that's our help center. So the publishing steps that I went over today can be found there for Articulate Storyline and Adobe Captivate. I wanted to mention again quickly that we do support Articulate Storyline 1 and 2, and as well as Adobe Captivate 8, 7 through 9. So we definitely support a wide range of versions of Adobe Captivate and Articulate Storyline, and that information can be found there. Also, in our Help Center, you'll also be able to see our next month's webinars that we have planned to demonstrate, to help you understand a little bit more about Mindflash. Also, you can definitely send us an email at help@mindflash.com with any questions you may have and get a response within a few hours. But definitely, if you have any other questions, please let us know. And okay, and then I see another question just came in. So sorry about that. A quick question just came in. What about Articulate Presenter and Engage? So unfortunately, we do not support Articulate Presenter or Engage. It's specifically Articulate Storyline versions 1 and 2. So definitely, it's a possibility that but we could definitely figure out a way to go through it. If, as mentioned earlier, it is possible that it might work. There might be some certain features or animations that might not work well, but definitely we'd be happy to take a look for that, test it out from our end, see if we can get it to work for you. So definitely help@mindflash.com will be one of the best ways to reach us. And we'd be happy to test that out for you as well. But at the current moment, it is Articulate Storyline and Adobe Captivate. Again, thank you all for joining us on this short webinar. I hope the information that was presented today was pretty awesome and pretty cool. And well, just wanted to say have a great day and happy training. Thank you.